So here we go with part two. We've just finished the folding of the skin. Smear the cement on there. Let it sit for about 30 seconds, give or take. You don't have to let it sit there for that long, but 30 seconds is a good enough time. I think it's sufficient to really get a good stick on there. If you want it to, stay stuck for as long as possible, and like I said, 10, 15. I say 15 at the tops. I said 15, 20 earlier, or 10 to 20 earlier. I say 15 minutes tops. Just put it on there, make sure it's good, make sure it ain't going anywhere. Roll your sleeve down just a little bit to cover it over. Make sure you put it on an area of the skin. Don't put it so close to the wrist, because your wrist has a lot of movement up there. Get a spot over halfway from your wrist to your elbow. Over halfway. So there's not a lot of movement there, and by moving your wrist up and down like that, you're not going to open it slightly. But cover it up with your sleeve just a little bit, and here we go. So right after the skin fold, you're going to want to do a little bit of touch-up, because there is going to be some imperfections. So do the skin fold and let it dry, kind of hold it there, pinch it there for a bit, and you're going to see some areas that kind of haven't stuck perfectly. They might have a little bit of the marker in between, so the skin in between two lines of Sharpie. You could either darken it up with your Sharpie marker, just give it a quick just a touch up, a redo there. What I would prefer is do both. Grab a little bit of cement with your fingertip and just add it on the spot that's showing. Blow on it. 10 seconds later, give it another tiny little pinch. Make sure it's just one line of black showing, and it may be up and down, zigzag, just a little bit. Grab your Sharpie marker and just touch it up. Make sure it's a nice thick straight line. Not thick, but make sure it's a nice even straight line. So thicken up some parts if need be. So the elastic band is the best. It's my method. Not my method. It was on the DVD, but it's the method that I prefer to use. If you do it like this without an elastic band, you make it fold it over without the elastic band, you're bound to have some imperfections. The elastic band is like a foolproof method. So we're going to get into the actual trick now. So what I'm going to use a red card and a black card, okay? Like I said before, the 4 diamonds and the ace of spades. So what I do is I do 2 riffle forces, but I do 2 different variations of riffle forces. Like this is when I first started doing the trick. Right now I do a classic force, where if I hold out the deck like this, and they think they have a free selection, they touch a card, they pull it out, whatever, but I know what card they're going to touch just because, well, look up a classic force. That's a whole different video on its own. It's a very psychological force, but for this one, you've got both cards on top. It doesn't matter in which order, but it will matter later, so you're going to have to know who picked what and so on and so forth. So for the first one, I'm just going to go, pardon me, sir, could you say stop anytime? Great. Now I do a little quick slip force right there. I'll just retain the top card as I grab the top half of the deck over. So it's a normal, you don't have to cut at first or anything like that. There's no hold and break at this point. You have both cards on top. Okay, so the first card I'm going to, well, in both cases, the top card would be normally, in all cases, it would be the card that you're going to force. So riffle down, they say stop anytime. You say right about there, and you can cleanly open it up, right? I just kind of tilt the deck a little bit this way. These fingers, I just retain that one card, and I slap it over. How to cover that is you just kind of roll it out like that and just go, okay, there you go. Please take your card. And they've taken the ace of spades. Put it down the table just like that. Make sure you put this packet, which is the next this packet, make sure you put the right hand packet back on top where it came from. So let me do that one more time so there's no confusion. Do a riffle force, say stop right there. You're going to pull out that card real quick, give them their card, then put the top pack back on the top. So now you have the second selection ready to be selected. This time I do a quick cut, just for, because we're doing this fast, so just for effect to give it a quick cut. Now you please say stop if you don't mind. They say stop, and I've got a pinky break where I cut the cards. And they say stop right there, and I say right there, okay, then I release, I push it down, and then I push forward where I have my break. Okay, so I'm going to push forward, going to say, please take your card. So I'll go over that one more time. It's the card I want them to take, the card that I know is on the top. It's the 4 diamonds. Okay, this is the card that they need to. I need to remember that this is the main card. This is the boom card, I guess, whatever you want to call it. The bling bling card. Okay, this is where the magic happens. So you cut the cards real quick. So that card's in the middle. You're holding the pinky break with a little bit of strength. You want to bow the cards so you don't show that front break. You don't want to seem inconspicuous at all. You say stop anytime you're like right there, no problem. Then I close that break and push forward with my break. And I say please take your card. So they're going to take theirs, and that is the selected card. So you say to spectator number 1, you say, I want you to do me a favor. You can put these cards back in your pocket. So I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to take my Sharpie marker, and wherever you put the cards, it's wise to have your Sharpie in the same pocket so you can do it one smooth motion. See, I'm going to take my Sharpie marker here, and I'm going to try something with your selected card. Now at this point I'm going to stand back a bit. At this point you want to roll up your sleeve, not exposing that you have something written on there, and then start to draw, pretend to start to draw. You're going to draw that, pretend to start drawing that first line, and you don't really have to do much. You just kind of do this, come back down, and start drawing the rest of that square. So make it look like a card at first, and say, I'm going to give a little prediction right here. And you bring your arm back up, and you quickly draw the first spectator's card, the black card, which in our case is the ace of spades. You don't have to draw it in dark or anything. You say, I think I've got a prediction right here. You put the pen back in the pocket. Say, I think I've got a prediction. Was your card the ace of spades? And they're gonna say, yes, it was. That's amazing. You're gonna say, I'm gonna try one other thing. Don't put the marker away just yet. I'm sorry. You can say, I'm gonna try one other thing. What if I was to turn this deck of cards here, this card here, into an actual deck of cards? And so what you do is you kind of make it a little 3D effect here. You can think about it any which way you like, but that's what they're going to be seeing at this point. Okay? You have the glue all set up, then you're ready to put away your marker. Now here is a really good subtlety. If you pull down like that and you shake it, this end and this end of the glue is going to get released. It's going to still look pretty cool, but you want it to look like a straight card is coming out of nowhere. So you want to grab here, here, and in the middle, and pull all three. Kind of give it a shake. And that if you give it, like, don't really pull like I was doing, but if you give it a quick shake, it creates a lot of distortion, you know, in the skin. Slowly that card is going to rise up. Watch the video a bunch of times. You're going to see it's a very, very cool looking thing. And they always have their finger in the middle, just so they can get all of the card coming up in a unified manner, like one card rising out of now this deck you have drawn. And that's as far as it goes. So I'm going to actually show you version 2 right here. There's 2 versions that I like to do with this. And version 2 is you're only going to need to give them one card. Okay? Force one card, and you're going to pretend as the magician that you made a mistake, and then you're going to have the right card pop out of the deck. I'll show you what that looks like now. So you can say, pardon me, sir, I'd love you to say stop anytime. They say stop. You do your quick riffle force. I did a slip cut force on that one. In my opinion, it's kind of the same thing. Slide that deck on the bottom, and then they're going to take their card, which is the forced card, the card you want. You do the exact same thing. You take your Sharpie marker. You can put the deck away. You say, I'm going to do a prediction here. Roll up your sleeve. You have nothing but the 4 written on there so far. And you're going to roll up your sleeve a little bit. And you say, okay, I'm going to draw a little prediction right here. So you draw your square, right? You show them the square. You say, I'm going to do a prediction here. I'm going to see if I can predict your card. And just for argument's sake, because I already have the ace of spades on here, I'm going to go, sir, was your card the ace of spades? I'll draw an ace of spades there. They're going to say, no, that wasn't your card. That wasn't my card. Put the Sharpie away. Say, okay, what if, pardon me, don't put the Sharpie away. I'm getting screwed up here. Don't put the Sharpie away. Say, what if I made this into a deck of cards? Maybe we can fix that mistake. Make it into a deck. Then you can put the Sharpie away and perform the trick as before. It's great when, I've said this before because I love tricks like this, it's great when the magician messes up. It's always great when the magician messes up because they think they have fooled the magician, when indeed the magician will always fool you. I love tricks like this because it lets them, it puts their guard down. They don't know what's coming next. They think, okay, here's Mr. Magician going to dig himself out of a hole. I'm digging myself out of a hole. You're not doing that, okay? Especially if you are doing card magic and you're not that good with sleight of hands, or you're trying to do a new trick or something like that, always stay 1 or 2 steps ahead of them. Have a prediction in your pocket. Have something, because if this trick screws up, you always want to have an out. You always want to have something to get out of there with. So that's pretty much it. There's not a lot more I can think of. There's a couple subtleties I could go over. You know what? There's another version. You could shorten any card. Say this is your prediction card as usual. Take some scissors and shorten that card about 1/2 millimeter, if you're going by the metric system. 1/2 millimeter right off that card. Okay? Make it nice and round. Make it look like a normal card. And this is a very, very old trick to control one card to the top or to the bottom. You'll always be able to hear this card in the middle of the deck. I'll slide it in the middle, and you can always hear it. Right there. You'll always be able to hear. This is a very old deck. I've actually missed it. But you'll hear it in a new deck. It pops up, no problem. You can hear it, and then you can shuffle it to the top, or you can shuffle it to the bottom, or whatever you want to do. And from there, if you want to do another force, which is a dribble force, you kind of hold it at face level with them, also face level with yourself, and you say, okay, I'm going to give you, you say stop anytime you like. Stop right there, show you the card. But I can see it because it's on the screen, but I know at this point that I'm looking at the 4 of spades. And I'll show you real quick, because it's on the level with me. I'm seeing it like this. And then I see the 4 of spades right there. So I quickly do a force like this. I know their card. Another variation, or just an easy cleanup. The Sharpie marker is not easy to get off your skin. So rubbing alcohol helps. Another great way, now this was a subtlety I just learned. Take your Sharpie marker, open it up, take this off, take the inside of the Sharpie, remove it, take a dry erase marker that's black, and put the sleeve that comes inside that marker, inside here, construct this all back together, and eventually the ink from here will turn into a dry erase ink. And with tap water and some soap, you can get that off your skin, no problem. But with this part, however, always do in a Sharpie, because the chemicals from the rubber cement will get rid of that in a matter of one application. Other ideas you can do is an eye opening on your skin, or a flower coming out of the pot. That's all we're going to do about the RIZER card. That's all we need to do. I'm just going to cut it there. So the last gaff cards we were talking about, there's arcane gaffs. I put a bunch of video links in the just check them all out. There's tons of them out there. Get all the gaffs. Two-Faced, I can't find the name of the magician. I have the video. He doesn't say his name once. So Two-Faced is how I found it. And when it comes to forces, use mental forces when you're on the street. Use physical forces. Just get creative with this trick. And don't stop with cards coming out of your skin. This is a very, very, very strong effect. You can have anything pop out of your skin. It's kind of freaky, but it works. My next video is going to be about a card cull, one that I prefer. This is the strongest card cull. You can do it in the middle of a trick. You can do it as a quick side trick. In my opinion, it is exactly like the snap change. You can do it whenever you want, and it's a double effect. This one is actually a card cull and a palm. So think about that, and I'll see you guys next time.